What's going on, y'all, and welcome to the latest edition of Kameron's Keys, where we drop major keys to help you excel in your life and career. And on this episode, we are firmly discussing, should I go back to school? Now, why are we talking about this? Because honestly, there is a gap. There's a huge, I'd say, an educational gap. Either you have your high school diploma, either you have your college degree, and there's very few that are kind of somewhere in between. So the question begs that maybe should I go back to school to, maybe get a higher paying job or to get a raise or blah, 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 blah. There's so many different factors. So this video is really going to help you determine if it is wise for you to go back to school. So let's go ahead and hop into some major points that we really want to cover. So number one thing you should answer is your educational level, is it connected to a raise in pay, in the dollar bills, right? So for example, if you are let's say you've got your bachelor's degree, right? You put in hard work, you graduated from college and you're working, and it's time for you to get like a promotion, or it's just time for you to get this or that. And the company says to you, they will give you a raise if you go back and get your MBA. They will give you a raise if you go back and get your master's. They will give you a raise if you go back and do this, right? So that you determine that. So you might live in a company culture that is either, the educational arena. There are many teachers that a lot of positions that are outside of the classroom require you to get your master's in educational leadership, school psychology, and teaching, whatever your system requires. There are also corporate companies that will require you to get a master's in business administration, so on and so forth. But is your career path one of those paths? Is it going to give you a pay bump that will let you make more money? Now, the question also is, for those of y'all who are not in that traditional setting where it's clearly outlined that we'll give you a pay bump if you go back and get your master's, what happens when you don't? So if you don't get your master's, can you still get that pay bump? Can you still get that promotion? Can you still make up the difference without it? That's something to think about. Now, for those of you who did not go out and get your college degree, maybe you're thinking, well, maybe I should go back and get my college degree. Okay, that goes back to the first question. Are you in a career path that requires you to get a college degree? And if you get that college degree, will you get a pay bump? If we're just talking about if we're just talking about leveling the playing field and getting you more marketable when you're applying for a job, to separate yourself from those people who just have high school diplomas and those people who have college degrees. If you're just trying to separate yourself from this pack, okay, I get it. But if your specific career path doesn't require you, and you can get the raise, if you can get the money, if you can get more money without going back and getting a 4-year degree, then that's something to think about. Do you really need it? Do you really want to spend tuition dollars and all that to get this? All right, the second thing is, do you have a purpose for going to school? What's the purpose for going to school? So the reason why I say that, do you have a purpose, is because you can go out and get a college degree. If you just want a college degree, you can get a college degree in general studies. That's where you basically major in 3 different things, and you just do it to just say that you have a bachelor's of arts or a bachelor's of science or whatever the case may be, right? But if you're going to college specifically, then you probably want to get something specific. So majoring in psychology, or majoring in business, or majoring in health administration, majoring in this or that, so that you can get a specific job that's connected to that specific major, right? There are plenty of people that I know that majored in psychology and then went on and did nothing in the field of psychology. They majored in health administration, like I just taught. No. They majored in health education, but then went to go work in corporate America. So no, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, you got to have a purpose if you're going to college, and you need to know that purpose. If you are just trying to separate yourself from the people who didn't get the high school diploma, from the people who do have the college degrees, and you just need a job that will accept your college degree, then what you need to do is just get the easiest major that you can actually get a degree in, which is a general studies, probably a family and consumer science major, something that doesn't require much, I'm not gonna say much attention, but it doesn't require you to study endless hours like, say, a biochemistry or a psychology. So pick something that is connected to that particular purpose. So like I said, what's the purpose of you going back to school? Are you going to get a specific niche job? Then what you got to do is you got to know, okay, I need to major in chemistry. I need to major in history. I need to major in education. I need to major in psychology. I need to major in mathematics. I need to major in specific things because with this degree, I'm going for a specific job or a specific career path. And the only way I can do that is if I have a specified degree from my 4-year degree, right? So the same thing goes on if you're going on to get a master's degree. If your job doesn't specify like MBA or master's in public administration or whatever the case may be, then let's say you're going to get your master's so that you can change careers. Well, then you want to get that master's in something very specific. So based on the career path that you're going for, make sure that you get it in that specific career path or the specific major, because an MBA can be seen as basically a level 2 bachelor's. So it's like, oh yeah, I got my master's in business administration. A lot of people can have that, right? So if you just want that general pay bump, get the MBA. If you want something specific, get something specific within that field, because that can separate yourself even from the people who have just the bachelor's. It's just how it goes. So the third thing that you need to ask yourself, if you're gonna go back to school or not, that'll help in that determining factoring, can you commit inside and outside the classroom? Can you commit to the work? Now, for those of y'all who have a background, like it's not just you. Let's say it's you, your wife, your husband, your children, niece and nephew, you're living with your mom, like whatever your situation is, can you commit to what it takes to get that degree? So for that 4-year college degree, a college degree usually is about 120 plus, give or take, hours. So that's going to be roughly 8 semesters if you go full time. Now, if you don't go full time, obviously that's going to be longer. So you might go out to 10, 12 semesters, just depending on the rate that you can go, right? Can you commit that level of time in the goals that you're trying to reach for your career? So number one, so inside the classroom. So can you go to that 3 hours a week? So for the classes, so for those of y'all who don't know about college, you either go to a class that is an hour or hour 15, 2-3 times a week, or you go to that class once a week for 3 hours. Can you commit to that? Will your schedule allow that? Can your family time navigate that? Most people can, but can you also do that for the next 4, 5, 6 years, however many that you can do that? Can you commit to that with your work schedule, with your family schedule, with everything that you got going on? Can you commit a chunk of time to that educational process? Now, the next thing outside the classroom, you got to be able to do the homework. Yeah. It's not like high school where you can probably do your homework in like 15 minutes. You got to make the decision if you can make the commitment to do the homework, do the papers, do the projects, do the outside class work. Can you handle that physically and mentally so that you can get the degrees that you're trying to get to? Same thing if you're going for a graduate or a higher degree. So obviously those things, like your master's, those may require not just you to take tests, but you gotta have, you gotta take long papers. Like when in my master's, it wasn't so much, we didn't have a whole lot of tests, but we had a lot of papers. Like we had a lot of like read, respond, interpret it, let's have a discussion. So it's gonna be a lot of writing. It might be a lot of projects. It might be a lot of things because you are taking it to another level in terms of mastering a certain specific career path, right? So another thing about masters is that you might have an internship, which means that you have to dedicate a block of time. So for example, in my master's program, I had to do a practicum and an internship. A practicum is like a pre-internship, but it was 300 hours. Yeah, 300 hours for the practicum, 600 hours over the course of the semester that I had to be present at the site, doing the work, counting the hours and all that, while balancing out my personal life as well. So if your specific graduate degree requires you to get an internship, you got to think about, okay, how is this going to affect my life, right? How is this going to affect how I move and groove with my family, with my social group, with my church, with all those things? Can I commit to what's required outside of the classroom? All right, so the last one is the degree worth it? Yeah. Is it worth me getting the degree? Is it worth me sacrificing the time? Is it worth me taking out student loans? Is it worth me paying out of pocket for these specific supplies? Is it worth the amount of time, effort, and energy that I'm going to put into it to get this piece of paper? Because that's essentially what it is. But so if your specific career path is to go back and be a doctor or be something in the medical field, you know, obviously you'll have access to more jobs, you'll have higher pay, but you're gonna sacrifice a large number of years. You're gonna sacrifice time away from your family. You're gonna sacrifice many things so that you can put yourself in a better position down the line. And this really goes back to, where do you want to be in your life? Like what's the purpose? Where are you trying to go? It's more than just the money. It's obviously these other things as well. So if you are not a college graduate and you're thinking about, okay, maybe should I get my college degree so I can have more access to jobs so that I can provide for my family, so I can put myself in a better situation to get promoted, maybe that's something that you should explore. But can you do this? If you can't do that, then okay, we got to figure out something else. But these are the 4 things that you have to consider if you are thinking about going back to school. Now, quick recap. Is your education connected to a raise in your career path? What's the purpose of me going back to school, getting a specific major so that I have access to specific jobs? Or do I need just a general so I can separate myself from everybody else? Can I commit to the in-class and out-of-class commitment? And is it worth it at the end of the day? All right, guys, that is this edition of Kameron's Keys. Be sure to subscribe, like this, and share this with somebody who really needs this. If you want to schedule a one-on-one with me, click the links below and I will work with you to help you personalize your situation, because everybody's situation is different. Everybody is not the same. So click the links below so I can work with you specifically. All right, and until next time, I'll see you next week.